you. Thank you so much, Sarah. And hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. Thanks for those thumbs up and just for making sure everyone feels good and safe and well with our session today. Thank you for having me again with St. John of God Liffey Services. I'm so excited to be here with all of you and to continue with our adventures with gathering and growing. The next few sessions with me, Aaliyah from Seed Scholars, are going to be our gather and grow sessions, and it is uh, kindly supported by Creative Ireland from County Westmeath. So thank you. And thank you all for participating. I'm excited to see your faces again. I'm looking through, I'm seeing your smiling faces and some greenery on your tables, some crafting items. So we're ready for today's gather and grow adventure. Yeah, nice stuff, guys. Well done. And I'm going to be crafting with you as well. So, great. Today, it's a little bit different because I have something to share on my screen. Usually it's just me and I'm holding things up, but I have a screen share. So I'm gonna pop that on. Okay. Can we see that? Can I see a thumbs up if you see that?
Yeah, we see that.
Okay, perfect. Great. So just loading it up. Here we go. Okay. So here's our gather and grow session. Welcome. And our first order of operations is we'd love to see who's here, where we're calling from, and we're going to do a little bit of some introductions to get to know each other or continue to get to know each other for those of us who have been with these Seed Scholar programs for a while. So for where we're calling from, I'm calling from County Westmeath in Collinstown at Barbavilla House. And if you are calling from Kildare, can I see a little roll of the hands? I see some callers from Kildare. Awesome. If you are calling from Dublin, can I see some flower fingers? Some Dublin callers. Awesome. And if you're calling from another county that I haven't mentioned, we can do a little finger dance. Look through in the grid view. Any other counties, you can write them into the chat. If you're calling from Meath or Cork, or if you're on a staycation. Awesome. So, just gonna make sure I can see this. Lovely. Great. Well, welcome everybody. And as another fun way to get moving a little bit before we get into it, I'm going to ask, what is your spirit vegetable? So, by spirit vegetable, I mean, what is the vegetable that when you think of it, it feels like you? It might be your favorite vegetable. It might not be your favorite. It might be just one that you really, maybe it has your same hairdo or something like that. Your spirit vegetable can really be a number of things. But I would love to be able to see your spirit vegetable. So think about what your spirit vegetable looks like. Is it round? Is it long? Does it have little leaves coming out from the top? Does it have a lot of different branches or arms? Maybe it's a carrot, maybe it's an eggplant. But on the count of three, we're going to make the shape of our spirit vegetable into the screen. So if we can try to look through also when we're doing that so you can see other people's spirit vegetable. So I'm going to get ready. I'm going to stand up. You don't have to. You can stay seated. But for your spirit vegetable, you can make the shape in 1, 2, 3. Nice. And unfreeze, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. I saw some lovely different vegetables. If you have a guess of what vegetable I was, you can write it into the chat. Um, but I'll tell it to you. My vegetable, my spirit vegetable, at least today, is a strawberry because I'm feeling sweet and bright like a colorful strawberry. Would anyone else like to share what they did for their spirit vegetable? You can show some flower fingers if you want to tell us what you chose and why. David, what were you?
I was tomato.
A tomato. Why did you choose
Yeah,
tomato?
yeah.
Why do you feel like a tomato today?
Because I love tomatoes.
Very good. Excellent. That's a perfect reason. Thanks, David.
You're
Would anyone
welcome.
else would anyone else like to share what was your spirit vegetable and why? Looking for flower fingers if you want to unmute.
A spudge.
Oh, yeah.
A
Okay.
spud. Why did you choose a spud?
Why did you choose a spudge?
I don't know.
That's what you have every day.
Perfect. That's a great reason. Lovely. Is there one more spirit vegetable someone else like to share?
Aoife, I think.
Aoife, what's your spirit vegetable?
What did you just say?
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob. Why did you choose corn on the cob?
Because I
Popped. Lovely. Full of energy, Aoife. Thanks for sharing. And I love those plants. Lovely. Great. Well, welcome again, everyone. One other thing I would love us to do to get to know each other a little bit and get into the mind frame of thinking about plants is to share a couple of nature wow experiences that you might have had lately. So sometimes when I hear a nature wow experience, I put up my wow. So I have a 3 and a 3, if you want to try it with me. These are our W's. They're the number 3, but they're also kind of a W. And our mouth is going to be the O. So we make a wow. W-O-W. Wow. So if you hear a nature wow experience that makes you think, wow, you can go, wow. And this is a way we can show each other we're listening when we're on mute. So it's a little strategy there. But I'll tell you mine. And as I'm telling you mine, you can maybe think of a nature wow moment that you had recently or one that comes to mind. But I was recently on Loch Lane on a lake that's near me in Collinstown. And I borrowed my friend's boat. They were very generous to lend me the boat. And we were paddling along with our oars. And my friends I was with had told me in the past that they'd seen flying fish. So not fishermen doing fly fishing. It wasn't the fishermen flying out their lines. It was that the fish themselves were jumping out and it looked like they were flying in the lake. And I did not believe them when they'd said that. However, when we went on this boat journey a few days ago, I was at the front of the boat looking out, seeing if we might accidentally bump any rocks because the lake is quite shallow right now. And while I was looking out, I saw a massive fish jump out of the water right in front of my eyes. It was the size of my finger to my elbow. If you look at your finger to your elbow, that's how big the fish was. It was massive. So I was very impressed and it felt like a nature wow moment for me. So if you think that's a nature wow moment too, you can do a wow. Yeah, and I did some research after and I found out that it's a pike. And pike are somewhat common in lakes and rivers in Ireland, and they're very vicious predator fish. They can eat other fish, they eat perch and trout, and they also jump out of the water to eat insects. So that's what I believe the pike was doing when I saw it. And I proceeded to see 2 more jumping pike in the lake over the course of an hour. So it was amazing. So that's my nature wow moment. And I would love to hear some other nature wow moments. And because there's a lot of us, which is wonderful, but we also have lots to do, you can feel free to type it into the chat if you had a nature wow moment, or we can also hear from a few people. So if someone has something amazing they saw in nature lately, I'm looking for some flower fingers. Anyone like to share a wow moment in nature from recently?
Hi,
Something,
there's a gentleman from Elvira. I'm not sure your name.
yeah.
How you doing? Can you unmute yourself there?
That's Keith.
Keith, hiya Keith.
What's your nature wow moment, Keith?
Hiya.
Hi.
Hi. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, we're wondering what your nature wow moment was. What's something amazing you saw in nature?
What is that the best thing that you saw in nature that really surprises you?
Happy?
Happy. It makes him happy when he goes to the nature, he says.
That's lovely. We love to hear that, Keith.
We just came from the gardening. We do a small allotment around there.
Oh,
So just to see your program, we just dropped it and we came back to see. Join
oh,
the...
well, thanks for joining us. And we hope that you see some nature wow moments in your garden very soon.
Yes, maybe we could send some pictures of that. Though.
Yeah.
We would love that. Yeah, you can send them into the chat, send a link to the picture, or
Yes,
send it.
yes, we would.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you, Keith. Thanks for sharing. Would anyone else like to share a nature wow moment? Something you saw that made you think, wow. Sarah, would you like to share?
Daniel has his hand up.
I was camping around Ireland during the break, and I camped in some very special places. One was in Ring on the side of a cliff looking over the Atlantic, and every day we were there, we had this little seal, and he used to come right close up to where we were wild camping on the in Ring in County Waterford. And not only did we see the seal every day, but we also saw lots of dolphins, and they were coming really, really close to the shore. So that was a wow moment. That was really cool. That was really, really cool.
Amazing. That's so cool, Sarah. Thanks for sharing. And sorry, were we saying Daniel had a hand?
Daniel had his hand up, yeah.
Daniel, would you like to share?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, back in school, when
Yeah.
autumn comes, I saw lots of hard nuts.
Oh, that's a big wow.
It's called conkers.
Yeah. How did it make you feel to see that?
Yeah. When I look at the trees, we're going for a nature walk.
Yeah. Lovely. Cool. Thanks for sharing, David. Daniel,
Thank you.
sorry. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Are we missing anyone else?
Can I give you one more wow?
Yes.
I saw a red squirrel.
I did too.
Amazing.
They're coming back.
Where did you see them?
In Glengariff in West Cork, they're reintroducing the red squirrel. So they've reintroduced pine martens because the grey squirrel don't like the pine marten, and then they've got the red squirrels in now as well, which is
I have one in my back garden.
A pine marten, Shelley.
No, my garden with the red squirrel was in my garden.
Oh, amazing.
Wow.
So I have a photograph of this. I have a photograph somewhere, so I can send it on. But it is a red squirrel gathering. We have hazelnuts here, so yeah, he was eating the hazelnuts.
Oh, isn't that handy?
Yeah.
Some for you and some for the squirrel.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, I've been starting to see the hazelnuts and the acorns. Little small acorns are coming out on my oak tree out there. So that's actually what's next after a quick stretch. So thank you for sharing your wow moments. And we are going to have a chance to share some more stories about place in a little bit. So hopefully those wow moments might have sparked some memories for you. And as we go into this next part, maybe you're starting to have some little seeds of ideas of some stories from when you're young or even from recently about the place where you are. We heard from Shelley and Sarah and Daniel and other folks. They've been seeing different nature things in their place. So see if any of those ideas come up for you. We're going to do a plant stretch and we're going to carry on. So if you want to stand up to do the stretch with me, you're invited. If you want to stay seated, also totally fine. We're going to start as a little tiny seed. So we're going to bundle up as a little tiny seed, squeezing in, deep breath in and out. And we are spreading out our roots. Letting our arms move all around. Deep breath in and out. And getting nice and tall. This is our stem, our long, sturdy stem with good posture. Pretending like there's a little string connecting the top of our head to the ceiling. So tall. And deep breath in and out. Stretching out our leaves, stretching them way out. Deep breath in and out. And for the flower, I like to do a little twirl. Flower twirl. And finally for the fruit, giving yourself a big hug. Deep breath in and out. Great. Lovely. We have entered Gather and Grow. We're all in. And here's a little bit for the rest of our session. We have an hour today, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So we have a little more time, a little more spaciousness. Thanks for the thumbs up, Audrey. So what's next is we're going to do a little tour to check on the garden here at Barbavilla where I am. And I'm going to ask whoever's comfortable to show us a little bit around where you are. So right after this short garden tour at Barbavilla, maybe you can show us a bit around where you are, and we'll just do that on mute and we can get a sense of where we are, what our different places are. And we're going to get to share some stories about place. If you have a personal story, a short story, or a mythical or a folklore story, something you know about a tree or an animal or a little patch of land where you are, because we want to root ourselves in this community even though we're online, so we get to know each other and the different places where we are. Then we're going to learn about some different ways to awaken our nature senses through owl eyes, deer ears, and the fox walk, and I'll show you what those are like and we'll get to practice. And then finally, this is a big agenda, we're going to have a bit of makerspace time where we're going to try to create a nature senses amplifier or enhancer. And that's why you have some of those nature bits or string or scissors with you for that making bit. So that's our session today. Lots to do. And with that, I'm going to try to take you out on a little garden space tour where I am. I'm hoping that this works with the internet. So if it gets a little choppy, I'll probably just come back. But for now, I'll just take you off the screen share so you can see more. Okay, so here I am in the polytunnel to start. There's my makerspace items for later, but I wanted to show you here some strawberries. So just gonna get you set up here. Here's some strawberries starting to ripen. They're hiding in the foliage. That was my spirit vegetable today. So there's the strawberries. That's what they grow like. Thumbs up if you've seen a strawberry growing in Ireland before. Some of those delicious strawberries in Wexford and other spots. Yeah, we're very lucky for those. Here's my French runner beans, my purple beans. They're very big. They're so long. So I'm feeling very lucky for those. And when you boil them, they turn green. So they look like green beans at that point. We also have some thriving squash. Sorry, some gherkins. And they're kind of prickly to touch, but they're delicious. And you can see they're growing all up and down the string. And even though they're quite heavy, like that's a big gherkin, that's the size of my hand, it still is okay. It's very strongly supported by its tendrils that are attached to these strings. So they hold themselves up even though they're very heavy. So that's the magic of plants here. We also have some tomatoes. They are very green. So unfortunately, not quite ready, but here's some tomatoes. And they can ripen in the windowsill. So I'm hoping that we'll still get them to ripen. Does anyone else have tomatoes at home? Inside or outside? Not quite. Yeah, they're a little bit tricky. They need a lot of sunlight. We're going out now. And for those of you who were with us long ago, it might have looked different earlier in the summer and in the spring, but that's what we have going now. There's mostly chard and greens, and there is some purple sprouting broccoli, which I'll show you. It's pretty cool. This is the purple sprouting broccoli. So that's what the broccoli looks like. Hello. And it does have some slug damage, but it's very cool to have our own broccoli. And the other very cool thing of them, the plums. You get nice and ripe. And some of the birds are starting to chop at them. Is it choppy?
Just a little, yeah.
I'll scoop back in here. Yeah, so with the plums, the birds are getting to them first, and then the wasps are getting to them. So it's hard to get a ripe one for the humans, but it's going well for the more than human world. Yeah, so that's a little tour of what's going on here at the garden. It's definitely feeling like a change to autumn. It's getting a little bit colder, a little crisper in the air. And I'm wondering what things are like near you. So with that, I was wondering if you're willing, if it's comfortable for you, to just show us around a little bit where you are. So that could just be in the room where you are, just to turn the screen a little and show us where you are, or just to show us outside your window. What does it look like outside where you are? Is there grass? Are there trees? Is there a city landscape? Just for us to have a sense of where we are in the world in Ireland. So if you are willing, it's no pressure, it's totally optional, but if you'd like to, this is an invitation to show us around where you are. So I have you on a grid view, but I think I'm spotlighted, which is fine. But if you just want to take your screen and show us, I see David showing us outside a little bit.
You can spotlight David's there.
Oh, wow, there's a greenhouse. Lovely. There's a patio. Some potted plants. Lovely. That's great. Oh, and some other bushes and shrubs. What a wonderful place to be. Thanks for showing us. I'm looking through. Thanks, David. You want to show us where you are? What are your surroundings today? Oh, Aoife's showing us around. Wow, there's loads of plants there too. Yeah. There's some potted plants and flowers. Gorgeous. Lovely. Oh, look at that. What are you growing there? Good stuff. I can't quite tell. Are those radishes?
Yeah. Watermelon. Watermelon. As I said, watermelons.
Oh,
Watermelons.
lovely. Some watering cans, more flowers. Beautiful. Thanks for showing us around.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
And your garlic.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, my garlic.
Oh, very good. How long has that been growing?
Yeah, my garlic.
Excellent.
See?
Great to see.
March.
Since March. Amazing. Great stuff. Thanks, Aoife.
Oh yeah, and apples. The
Oh,
apple tree.
what a treat.
It's apples in it.
Wonderful. Cool. Oh, look at that. There's the apples. A great sign of autumn.
Fergal's
Wow.
outside too.
What was that, Shelley?
Fergal.
Ah, Fergal. Oh, Fergal, great.
Yeah. Look, when you tell them about your garden.
I'm going to put it down a little bit so we can see.
Can I turn that? Oh, I can. Now you can show them. Now you can bring them around and show them. That's her.
Lovely.
And over here.
Some potted plants, flowers, herbs. What a delight.
And you have an apple tree as well, haven't you, Fergal? Where's the apple tree? Over there.
Excellent. Great stuff. Thanks, Virgil. This looks awesome. And a dog.
And the dog.
So all of these things, like what Fergal's showing us, and Aoife and David and all of us, beautiful. All of this is part of place. And the dog, the creatures that are there, all of it's part of place. And where we are can impact our mood and what's available to us and what our stories are. So thank you for everyone calling in from your different places and for showing us your places. And I wanted to open it up for people to share a short story about their place. This is similar to the nature wow moment, but it can be about just what's right outside. It can be something from your childhood, from recently or from long ago, or it can be something from your ancestry, something that you heard from a grandparent or someone else in your life. Yeah, a story about your place. So I wanted to start and tell you a quick one of mine, just to give you an example, and then hopefully we can hear from a couple other people, or you can always feel free to write into the chat so we can hear as many people as possible. But my place story I wanted to share is about the bees during lockdown. So just outside, right near where we were, there are 2 bee boxes here at the garden, and they were empty. So for about 6 months, there was no action of the bees, nothing going on with the bees. And we were wondering, where have they gone? And we know that the native honeybees in Ireland need support, and they're losing habitat, and we need to take care of them. So we were worried, like, what have we done to accidentally make this place not so comfortable for them? But amazingly, during lockdown, one day when I was in the garden shoveling some wood chips or something not so glamorous like that, we heard a massive buzzing in some trees nearby, huge buzzing. And we thought, is that a tractor coming? We were starting to think it must be a machine, but instead we saw this huge swarm, a honeybee colony protecting their queen, coming straight, making an actual beeline. And I realized that's why that phrase is something. It's a beeline to the bee box. And they made their new home back into the bee box after 6 months of nothing being there. So we were amazed and so grateful that they were back just in time for all the pollinating that needed to happen in the garden, just in time for spring and summer. So we were super grateful and amazed. And that feels like part of the story of place for me. When I look around where I am, I remember that story. And it feels really alive for me. So that's my little story about place. And I was wondering if anyone else has a little story about something near them or a memory of nature that they would like to share. John, would you like to share?
No, I had to leave his garden.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had to leave his garden.
You got that from the garden?
Yes. I know that
Did you pick it yourself?
a pebble.
Gorgeous.
A pebble. I have a leaf.
You got some leaves too?
Yeah, a leaf. Yes.
Lovely. Thank you, John. Did it feel good to get those yourself? Wow. You have quite a collection.
Yes.
Perfect.
I have leaves with pebbles. That does.
Thanks, John.
A leaf. A pebble.
Nice one. Beautiful. And you have different colors too.
Yeah, I do, yeah. I'm putting the CD.
Thank you, John.
I just swear.
Lovely.
Rachel
All
wants
right.
to share as well.
Okay, yeah. Rachel, would you like to share?
Yeah, I always remember when I was little, and I don't know if any of the lads have ever been out on different farms, that we used to play when my granny was growing the hay. We used to play out in the field with the hay, and when it was put into stacks, before they'd make it into squares, we used to go out and play with it, and we had a great time, you know. And it is, you know, I'd love for the guys, when things return to normal, to do maybe a farm trip. Would that be possible, Sarah?
So Rachel, just to let you know that there's a number of the men and women who do participate in social farming.
Oh, right, okay. I haven't learned that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to put it into context, Elia, there's 2 Liffey services run all the way out to Maynooth and Leixlip, So a lot of the guys down
Lovely.
there would have been involved in the social farming for quite a long time, and some of the Dublin, but not all of the Dublin centres would have been. So that's, I suppose, where that comes from.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's a
Thanks,
wonderful
Rachel.
memory to have, you know, that kind of being out on the farm, you know, and it's great that some of the guys are getting that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great point of sparking memory. If anyone else joining us, if you have a memory of something from social farming that you'd like to share, a particular animal you had a connection with, or one of the jobs that you liked. Does anyone want to share something from social farming? Just looking through here. You can also feel free to share into the chat, as always. But we can keep thinking about that. And if oh yeah, go for it.
I would have supported some of the men and women to go social farming down to Aher, down on Vincent Coyne's farm, and we went for a walk in the bog. So I'm originally from Finglas, so I wasn't aware of lots of different things in the bog, and I stumbled into a bog hole, so I got very wet and didn't realize it was quite scary. But yeah, it was a good experience, quite funny afterwards. You got over the shock of being soaking wet and muddy. But yeah, I'd never seen that before. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect memory, like perfect place-based memory. Thank you for sharing, Audrey. And yeah, I really didn't know about bogs. I hadn't experienced bogs coming from Los Angeles, California. And where I am in Westmeath, there's lots of bog, and I'll just be smushing through with my wellies sinking in, and yeah, doing some bog jumping when I'm fully waterproofed is, when you're prepared, it's fun, but yeah, it's a mixed bag. Thanks, Audrey. Awesome. So we are going to keep thinking about our places and our stories about places, and we'll return to that. We luckily have 2 more sessions of Gather and Grow. So if something comes up that you'd like to share next time, keep that memory, or write it down, draw a little picture, and we can hopefully have some time to share that again. But for now, we're going to do a little bit of nature awareness, thinking about our senses. And this is going to help us with any kind of nature experience we have to make it even more intense, and to help us take everything in even more than we already do. And that's from learning from the lessons of the more than human community, from these different animals who use their senses in very particular ways, and who have body parts that help them use their senses in those ways. And we're going to learn from them right now. So the first one is owl eyes. And before I say anything about it, what do you notice about these owls? There's a long-eared owl and the barn owl. There's also a short-eared owl in Ireland, but these are owls you can find here in this country. And what do you notice about them? Anything special? Rachel?
Their eyes are very different. You know.
How are they different, would you say?
Well, the long-eared owl has very bright yellow eyes, whereas the little barn owl has this beautiful white face with the little chocolate brown eyes in it.
Yeah.
You know, they're very different colours.
Yeah, they're both owls, but they present very differently physically. And thank you, Rachel. And I saw Fergal showing some wing action, showing some binoculars, which is actually a really good point about owls we'll talk about. Anything else you noticed about the owls? Like to share any other noticings from the owls?
John has his hand up.
John, what are you thinking?
no, I think it, yeah, yeah. No, I think it is the owl, okay, owl.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
there's
think
the
owl
owl there. And does it,
that guy, that guy.
yeah, those eyes,
Yes, his eyes.
definitely. Do they look like ours,
Right.
John, do you think?
Yeah, I think the owl's okay. Because public
Hmm.
rights, public rights,
Thanks, John.
owl. Yes.
Hmm.
I think a Hindi
Yeah.
Yeah, I
wanted
think.
to say something as well.
What was that?
I think a Hindi wanted to say something as well.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Hindi, did you want to say something?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, I thought your hand was up.
No worries. Okay. Yeah, so these noticings are all what we're seeing here in the picture. And the owls have this kind of tubular, binocular vision. So they don't have the same eye makeup as we do as humans. Theirs are kind of like this. So if you go like this, or even like this, you can try it out. This is more like what the owls experience. Their eyes cannot move around in their sockets like humans' eyes. Their eyes have to stay fixed like this. And the way that they look around is by using their neck. And their necks can turn 270 degrees. So they can turn almost a full circle around. You might have seen that in movies and things like that, where the owl's head spins. That's because it can really rotate so much. I actually have a stiff neck right now, so I can't, I'm more like an owl that I have to move my whole head to look around. But that's what the owls are doing. Their eyes are like this, and their heads are moving so that they can take in all of this vision. And it's quite incredible. And they can see very well with this style, very intensely. And that's what helps them as predators to find the mice and the voles and the little rodents that they hunt for. Owls actually even hunt for each other sometimes. Bigger owls hunt. So for owl eyes, this is what we can do. And there's a way to get even a better sense of the owl eyes. So for this, make sure you have a lot of space in front of you, or you might try standing up. But to practice owl eyes, you can put your hands in front of you and wiggle your fingers. And slowly, without moving your head, slowly parse your hands apart until you can't see your fingers anymore. So I'm going to go back here. So I'm going out. I can still see them. I can still see them. I can still see them in my periphery. I can still see them. Wow. Now I can't see them anymore. But I can go all the way out here. And let's try it the other way. So you can start your hands like this. Wiggle your fingers a little bit. And let's go up and down. Wow. So I could see all the way till out here and all the way till out here. So all of this space was in my peripheral vision. And usually in my everyday life, when I'm just looking at a screen, I'm not using my peripheral vision. I don't have to, because I'm not having to be a predator out in nature to find my food. But when we're out in nature, using these tools like owl eyes, it can help us to see so much more of what's going on around us. So if you just want to take 1 minute and just try that out with your owl eyes, seeing even more than you usually might, we're going to come back together in just 1 minute and see what you experience. So just go out, or just to the side of your table. You don't need to stay at your screen, and look around with your owl eyes. and see what it feels like. I just had a quick owl eye moment, and I was starting to see some crane flies and some other smaller insects that I don't usually pick up. Did anyone notice anything about trying owl eyes? Thumbs up if you felt like you could see more than usual, like you were taking more in. Thumbs to the side if you need more practice. Yeah. 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 Give it a try when you're out on a walk or just taking a moment to stand outside, and try activating that peripheral vision and see what you notice. And we'll check back in. Yeah. I see some thumbs to the side. That's okay. Takes time. This is just an introduction, and we'll be practicing these things over our sessions together and checking it. The next strategy I wanted to introduce is deer ears. And deer ears is another nature awakening strategy that we learn from the more than human world, from the deer. And their ears are kind of like satellite dishes. They're formed in this way, this kind of open way, to be able to take in a lot of sound. And they're especially attuned to take in the sounds of their predators, because deer are prey. They are hunted. In Ireland, do we have any predators for the deer? No. The deer are really lucky in Ireland. There are human hunters of deer, but natural predators, not really. Where I'm from in California, we have big animals. We have mountain lions, we have bears, so we have some big predators that deer might be afraid of. But here they're very lucky, but they still have this anatomy, the way that their bodies work, to be prey, because they're usually hunted. And deer also can isolate their ears and rotate them to hear different things wherever they need to. So to practice deer ears, you can go like this. So owl eyes is like this, deer ears is like this. So you're cupping behind your ear. Give it a try. And you're directing the ears to where you want to hear the sound. If you want to hear something behind you, you can cup like this. And if you want to try opposite, which deers can do, you can trade. So we're just going to take a minute with our deer ears. What's the loudest noise you can hear? What's the softest noise you can hear? What sound feels the closest, the most nearby? What sound sounds the farthest away? I heard some geese far away, and nearby there's a little bit of buzzing. I think it's some kind of little insect, maybe a little fly. But did you notice anything about that? What was that like? The deer ears. Neve, what can you hear?
Hear the wind.
Hear the wind? Yeah.
The wind and the cars coming.
Yeah, that's a big sound. And as we practice with our deer ears, we can start to hear more and more by learning from the deer. So well done, guys. And we'll keep practicing that. Try it out on a walk or just stepping right outside. And finally, our last nature senses practice we're going to try before we try to make something really quick is the fox walk. And what is the fox? Is the fox usually an animal that gets eaten or an animal that eats other animals? Claire?
I think fox eats animals.
It eats other animals. Yeah.
It eats animals. And
yeah.
That's why you do camping because the fox is he has watched the fox coming because sometimes they're going to attend at a back garden or forest.
Yeah.
So that's why the Caribbean fox is the fox, the red fox, is we see properly in very dark outside.
Yeah.
In the whole world, all the kind of like all the countries.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Claire.
All right.
Yeah, the fox is very sneaky as a predator. It's coming in to the farm or to the field or right near houses sometimes. They get very bold in the city, I've noticed. And they're coming to find food. And when they're coming to find food, they do not want to be heard or seen. They want to sneak over and get what they want. So when we talk about the fox walk, we're talking about a very slow and soft footstep so that we can sneak and take in more with our senses by keeping quiet. So the fox walk is sort of just a slower, steadier walk than our usual walk. Sometimes with the fox walk, I like to get low. I like to bend my knees so I can be closer to the ground and take really slow and steady steps. And by doing that, I can take in more all around me. Katie, do you want to add something? I saw Katie raised a hand.
I do have a question, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I see them at night. Yeah, I see them at night with the fox. Was it near our house? We see them at, well, it was at the Greens. Cause me and my sister, you know, we see them at night times with the fox and all.
Yeah. That's when they're hunting, isn't it?
It's not like hunting, wasn't it, Leon?
Yeah, no, it is.
No, it was.
But you had a pizza box.
Cause it has a pizza box.
And you were walking down the hill.
And you're walking down to the hill.
Yeah, they're hunting for that pizza. Thanks, Katie. Yeah, so the fox, if it wants to get your pizza or if it wants to get a living creature, it needs to have this very careful walk. So I'm just going to model it and you can give it a try if you like. So I sit low, bent knees. That was it. Not have been able to see my feet, but I was just taking very careful, slow steps. And when you're out and about in the woods or just outside your house and you want to try to be very quiet so that the other creatures keep doing what they're doing and you can just watch them, try doing it with a fox walk. So I'm aware that we just have a little bit of time left. So I would love us to practice those things more, and I'll try to incorporate those in our next couple sessions. But to help us do that, we're just going to have a short bit. Looks like we only have 5 minutes, but you can keep working on it if you have time afterwards, to have a makerspace. And the makerspace is where we get a challenge, and then we use some of these objects to create something in response to the challenge. So the challenge here is to create your own sense enhancer. So it could be something that's going to make your hearing better, something like deer ears. It could be something that's going to make your sight better, something like owl eyes. It could be something that's going to make your steps softer, like a fox walk. Or maybe it's something for your smell, if you want to be able to smell more in nature. So I don't have instructions because this is a makerspace. We get to create something from our imagination that we think will help us meet this challenge. Something that will help us with our sight, or our hearing, or our walking gently, or our smell. So for me, I have some paper. Hopefully they're mostly reused things or things from nature. I have some cardboard, some toilet rolls. I have some grass. I saw a bunch of you have some leaves on your tables. That's great. I have some leaves too. Bundles of leaves. And I have some fabric, some old fabric. And bark. I also have some string and scissors, just in case. But we're just going to take the next 5 minutes. I know it's short, and it's okay if you're only getting started. You can keep going when you have time. But just think to yourself, what might you make that can help those senses? And just get to work. So now's your time to take out your materials. So if you have some paper or scissors, I am going to get started, and we can just create together for the next 5 minutes or so. I'll show you what I'm up to. Here's my workspace. I'm thinking maybe I might want to make some kind of deer ears. So if you have some string, I know it's a little different. Usually we get, at least in my life, I usually get instructions for what to do step by step. And that can be really helpful sometimes. Sometimes it's nice to give it a go and see what happens. I'm starting to make some deer ears here. I just have a piece of bark and I put a little leaf on it to make it look like a deer ear. Maybe I need to hold it like this. See what you guys are up to. Fergal's starting to make something. Rachel's crafting. Aoife and Sheena starting to make. David's crafting. John's getting started. So I'm still working with my bark. Hmm. I'm trying one with antlers. I'm not sure how well it will work. And I love doing this kind of thing, even though it's hard to not have instructions, because I can just pick up whatever I do have without having to go buy something in particular and give it a go. Okay, so I know our timing is coming to a close. That just flew by for me, so I apologize about that. But what I have here is just some deer ears. I see Audrey's got some antlers. And my bark is shaped so that I can amplify my hearing, and I put on some antlers too. Yeah. I see Claire trying on some deer ears. John is as well. Ooh, Fergal's got some owl eyes with some toilet rolls. Awesome. Rachel's making something there for some smell. Rachel, what do you have there? Oh, sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry, I picked up some branches and some ivy and some lavender and weaved them all together and tied them up with some silver ribbon.
Gorgeous.
And it's lovely.
And that's for enhancing.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Lovely. Thanks, Rachel. Ooh, Aoife, what do you have there?
Eye. L-I.
Your owl eye. Oh, and it's very designed as well. It has some nice features.
Yeah.
Well done. Nice, Aoife. I see Neve with some banana antlers too. Yeah, awesome. Sheena, what do you have there?
Bananas.
Lovely. That's great, guys. That's super. And look, we had very little time. I know Anya's still crafting, and I just want to be mindful that I know that my allotted time is up. But look what you did in such a short time. That was incredible. I apologize. I should have given more time, and we can hopefully do some more crafting in other sessions. And I just wanted to finish off, if I can, and feel free to tell me I'm taking too much time. Yeah, just for next time, we're gonna try making some herbal tea together. So we're gonna try making some wild plant tea, and I'll show you how to do it, and I'll give you some instructions on what to have ready for our next time together, and we'll keep thinking about and experimenting with our nature awareness senses. And if you've created something for your nature enhancer that you want to share, feel free to send pictures or videos of what you're doing to enhance your nature senses. On this screen that I'm sharing now, there's an optional feedback form and a link to some forest school sessions that we're going to have in person in Westmeath. So those will be in January. So that's in a while, but that's that there. And I am really excited to see you next time, September 8th, same time, same place on the Zoom channel at 11:30, September 8th. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And I